Year 2022 in April 2022, the continent was covered with sad news of the passing on of a gospel artist. Her name was Osinachi, and at that time there was a lot of stories going on, especially by her husband, that she could have suffered throat cancer, but her family came out to state the facts of and the state of their marriage, that she had been facing domestic violence from her husband, who was arrested at the time. And exactly 3 years later, last month, April 2025, her husband was sentenced to death by hanging for the death of his wife, Osinachi Nwachukwu. Now, it's a sad story that she passed on due to domestic violence, but also there's light because justice has been served, but also a lot of lessons to learn. Men do not beat women. Domestic violence is against the law. It shouldn't even be a thing to be pushed for. It's quite obvious that it's bad. But also women, I understand there are women who batter men in their lives. It's altogether wrong. No one should harm the other physically. If things fall apart, there are many ways to deal with issues as opposed to physically harming someone to prove a point. You never prove anything, and you never earn respect from physically harming someone. Anyways, that being said, good morning once again. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Julie.
How are you?
I'm very fine. More so, yesterday the president made us very happy when he talked about issues of the minimum wage and pledged to follow things up, because this is something that we've been looking for, waiting to see the list. We have a minimum wage in Uganda, and I'm so concerned when it comes to the housemaids. I'm so concerned when it comes to people working in the many industries that we now have in our country. I'm very concerned when it comes to the people that, would we call them casual laborers?
Yes.
These are people who never have contracts, where someone can freely hire, freely fire. They are not subject to any benefits. So it gives me a lot of joy to know that His Excellency now said this is something that is going to be following up. The week has come to an end for us to work Monday to Friday, but there's also been a number of things. One, our brothers in Deba are still nursing wounds following the fire that gutted. Now, these are not physical because no one was hurt physically, but when you lose a business. I tried to go through Ndeba yesterday, and I could tell they are bringing back, and maybe you could hardly realize that even there was a fire. And my question was, I hope they have learned from their mistakes, because this could be the second time. But also, there is a developing story. I don't want to say developing, but where we've not yet gotten exactly what happened. I'm looking at stories that have made up the week. Oh, there's also the death of Omala, Sam Omala, former police officer. But around Rubowa, there is Rubowa police station. Yesterday, the entire police station was closed. Now, I happened to go around that area because I'm a born of around that area. And this was the entire talk. I know when Ugandans don't have the right information, everyone is an expert.
Everyone
now,
is a
here
reporter.
I drive in and everyone's like, Mama, tell us what exactly happened. Now, even I, who told them, give me a few minutes to find out and consult, I failed to get a clear answer of what happened. Clips, this, that, but we hope the police or the army will come out and give Ugandans the right information of what exactly could have happened, where we see police officers there now nursing wounds. Yesterday when I was there, I saw many police officers limping, with swollen feet, and each had a story to tell, of course, away from camera, and it is something that really isn't good. It's not pleasant at all.
I wonder what happened to those who are not necessarily police officers, but had different cases to address.
Whoever was there,
whoever was in the space,
received a beating.
Oh dear.
Whoever was there received a beating, according to sources of people who were there, received a beating. Now, others had to run into their home and lock themselves up. You know, it is a mix of issues. We hope we shall get to the bottom. But whatever it is, I don't think violence is something called for. More so when we see police officers being beaten. Some allege that this came with some suspects off from where, and then I think police refused to retain them. Then there was a scuffle, then police arrested 2 of those. So it's a mix of things, but we hope we shall get to the bottom. However, we strongly condemn such scenes. Now imagine locking up a police station.
I know.
People may have issues.
But also, I wonder what is in the minds of the Ugandans, ordinary Ugandans, civilians who are at that police station for different issues, different cases, who are going to report their cases. Perhaps a lady could have been there to sell her food, her tea, whatever, and she was neither he or she was neither the police or the army, and they were caught up in this mess. I wonder what
you just had to run for your life.
Yes, but I wonder right now what they are thinking about their safety.
One asked me now, which place is safe?
Yeah.
If I can be clobbered and walloped seriously at a police station,
I know.
now where should we be going? I told him run to hospitals.
Sad indeed, but let's continue on with what's on the local scene, Robert.
Well, we begin with definitely Labour Day celebrations in Nakapiripit district, where President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni pledged to stop the issue of casual labourers, create government-supported labour centres, and awaken the minimum wage bill to ensure the safety and rights of workers. The president, however, encouraged Ugandans to embrace commercial and intensive farming to create more jobs for the people in Uganda. He made the remarks during the commemoration of the Labour Day celebrations in Karamoja sub-region, district of Nakapiripirit. The Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amonge, reaffirmed the government's commitment to enforcing labour laws to ensure the safety and well-being of workers across the country. The event was organized under the theme, Consolidating on the Gains of the Parish Development Model for Increased Productivity and Inclusive Job Creation. The Japanese government has pledged to continue supporting Uganda in the management of refugees coming into the country. The Japanese Parliamentary Vice Minister Eri Afrik made this pledge during a meeting with the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabbanja, at her office in Kampala. Currently, the number of refugees from DRC and South Sudan is increasing daily, with over 1.8 million refugees in Uganda. In 2023, Uganda hosted a refugee summit, all aimed at helping Uganda in managing the refugee crisis, but at this point, from developing nations, not much has been coming. The Japanese Parliamentary Vice Minister Eri Afrik met the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabbanja. The two leaders discussed matters of mutual interest of the two sister countries, including the refugees. Moving on to Kasese district, where Kasese district marked a major milestone of 50 years since it was carved out of Greater Toro district. The celebrations were held across the region to commemorate the Golden Jubilee, highlighting the district's achievement and future aspirations. The celebrations kicked off with a procession through Kasese municipality, drawing residents, leaders, and cultural institutions together in unity. Over the past 5 decades, the district has made progress in infrastructure and social services. Kasese district boasts of over 100 health centers, 264 primary schools, and 40 secondary schools. As part of the festives, an exhibition was held to showcase Kasese's cultural heritage, natural beauty, and historical milestone. The Minister of State for Trade, General Wilson Mbadi, commended the district for its achievements and reaffirmed government support to continued growth. The Obusinga Bwarenzururu used the occasion to call on government to grant Kasese municipality status. Meanwhile, the residents voiced concerns about the impact of climate change on the district. And finally, from the local scene, learning to forgive has been a dominant message during funeral prayers for the fallen Assistant Commissioner of Police, Sam Omala. Omala, who died of cancer, was honored at All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero, where family, friends, and former workmates gathered to pay respect to the fallen officer. Sam Omala's former immediate boss, Captain Mike Mukula, expressed concern over government officials shunning the funeral service and activities linked to the burial of the deceased. And with that, we come to the end of our local stories. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Indeed, may his soul rest on in eternal peace for man who served his nation. Well, moving on to foreign matters, well, with the trade war going on between the US and China, Apple says it is shifting production of most iPhones and other devices to be sold in the US away from China, which has been the focus of President Donald Trump's tariffs. Now, the majority of the iPhones bound for the US market in the coming months will be made in India, while Vietnam will be a major production hub for items like iPads and Apple Watches, Chief Executive Tim Cook says. Now, it comes as the technology giant estimated that US import taxes could add about $900 million to its costs in the current quarter, despite Trump's decision to spare key electronics from the new tariffs. The Trump administration has repeatedly said it wants Apple to move production to America. The estimate comes as firms around the world are scrambling to respond to the huge shifts in global trade triggered by Washington's trade policies. On a call with investors on Thursday to discuss the firm's financial performance, the Apple boss seemed keen to draw attention to its investors in the U.S. Mr. Cook opened the discussion with a reminder of the company's plans to invest $500 billion across several U.S. states over the next 4 years. Now, moving on, U.S. President Donald Trump has removed Mike Waltz from his post as National Security Advisor and will nominate him as ambassador to the United Nations. In a post on social media, Trump thanked Waltz for his work and said he would be temporarily replaced by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who will continue as America's top diplomat. Waltz had faced criticism for mistakenly adding a journalist to a chat group where sensitive military plans were discussed, a political embarrassment likely to feature during confirmation hearings for the UN post. The former Florida congressman is the first senior member of the administration to leave the White House in Trump's second term. From his time in uniform on the battlefield in Congress and as my national security advisor, Mike Waltz has worked hard to put our nation's interest first. That is a quote by Trump as he wrote on a post on his Truth Social. I know he will do the same in his new role. Waltz posted a short statement on X alongside a screenshot of the announcement by President Trump. Now, coming to Africa, near Uganda, that is in Kenya, a Kenyan member of parliament has been shot dead in the streets of the capital, Nairobi, by gunmen on a motorcycle in a suspected assassination. Police said the attackers had been trailing Charles Ongondo, where his vehicles, before one of them got off the motorbike and shot him at close range. The nature of this crime appears to be both targeted and predetermined. Police spokesperson Muchiri Nyaga said in a statement, the opposition MP had 2 months ago complained about threats to his life, local media reported, and after the shooting on late Wednesday, his driver and bodyguard, both unhurt, managed to rush the injured MP to Nairobi Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The attack happened along a long road near a busy roundabout, often manned by traffic police and well-secured cameras. Shortly after the shooting, senior police commanders and detectives visited the scene and investigations are underway, police said. Well, that's what we have on the foreign scene. Robert, what is with the dailies?
Well, very interesting here. We begin with the New Vision, where we have policy sparks mixed reactions from experts. Now that is new rules set for land boundaries. And still in the New Vision, there we have Cardinal Turkson, Africa's Popol front runner. Is it time for Africa?
You never know.
Then 61 awarded on Labor Day. Who were they? I see some nonsense there. And the beat, we see alcoholism, Uganda's battle for sobriety. And the Rwawa incident, here we see the deputy police spokesperson for Kampala Metropolitan, Luke Owesigire, and soldiers raid station, beat up policemen. Well, not very interesting there. Then to the Daily Monitor this morning. A big headline there, why soldiers raided and beat up police chiefs. Now, the Lizard comes here, as usual, and says they did not see them in the bush war.
Oh, wow.
Sarcastically. And up again, we have Justice Mugambe sentencing for today. And some jobs are there for you in the Daily Monitor, but also one of the local stations that celebrates making 10 years, Campus and the Curious Mind of Drugs. So for the Daily Monitor, there is so much there for you. Allow me quickly move to the Daily Nation this morning. Ruto's relief to pensioners, teachers, and other workers. It was Labor Day. What did Ruto say there? Storm around slain MP. You just thought about that story. And still the Daily Nation brings you more regarding financial bill. What is there? Well, you can get more on the education sector. And crime, shot 13 times in front of his family and lived to tell horror story. Who is that? Well, you can only get yourself a copy and no more. Now, rushing through the Citizens this morning, Smear awards workers historic wage increase. Judy, the Tanzanian president has awarded workers historic wage increase. They must be smiling. Labor Day gift there. And EU-funded projects posed to boost blue economy in Tanzania. Also, there is some on politics there. Is Chandema headed the CUF and so much there, but also revealed Africa's role in global diplomacy during the COVID war. What you really need to know there. Now, allow me move to the Gazette.
All right.
And I'll beg you help me there.
Well, with the Gazette, it has contents in there: the Marriage Act notice, the Mining and Minerals Act notice, the Education, pre-primary, primary, and post-primary notices, the Water Act notice, the Commissioner of Oaths, that is Advocates Act notice, the Advocates Act notices, the Companies Act notices, the Insolvency Act notices, the Copyright and Neighboring Rights regulations, the Police Control of Private Security Organizations regulations notices, the Industrial Property Act notices, the Trademarks Act registration of applications advertisements, and supplements bill there, number 15, the Uganda People's Defense Forces Amendment Bill 2025, and statutory instruments number 44, the tier for microfinance institutions and money lenders, and number 45, the tier for microfinance institutions and money lenders SACCO. The first one is for non-deposit taking microfinance institutions amendment regulations, and the tier number 4 is for SACCO amendment regulations 2025, the tier 4 microfinance institutions and money lenders amendment regulations. Now, there is a notice as well, places for celebration of marriage, and in exercise of the powers conferred upon me by Section 5 of the Marriage Act, I hereby license the place for public worship mentioned in the schedule here to be a place for the celebration of marriages. The church is Family Peace Fellowship Church. It's a born-again denomination, Jambula Zone A, and it's in the parish of Golobi, Sub-County Nakawa Division, County Nakawa District, Kampala, given under the hand of Honorable Norbert Mao as of 16th day of April 2025. And the Mining and Minerals Act notice, their notice of grant of an exploration license, and it's hereby notified that exploration license number EL 00532, registered as number 003522, has been granted in accordance with the provisions of Section 43 and Section 47 to Devkey Steel Mills Uganda Limited. And this is by Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamo, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. And in there as well, finally, is the Mining and Minerals Act notice of grant of an exploration license to license number EL 00529, registered as number 003520, and has been granted in accordance with the provisions of Section 43 and 47 to Devki Steel Mills Uganda Limited. And this is as of 28th March 2025, dated this on the 31st day of March 2025, all by Honorable Dr. Ruth Nankabirwa Sentamu, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. Well, that's it with the dailies and everything going on in Uganda and around the world. For now, let's take a short break with a beautiful song from Irene Talley and a Ray's signature, Pen and Pepper. Good morning.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala.
The police or the army will come out.
Edition. I hope you were too. We had such an amazing conversation in regards to farming and empowering youth all together. But the national celebrations of Labor Day took place at Nakapiripirit in Karamoja region, where the president of Uganda was the guest of honor. And as I hoped that he would talk about the issue of minimum wage, he indeed addressed it, and he pledged that he would wake the issue of the minimum wage bill. But in there, he also pledged to address the issue of casual laborers, to emphasize the issue of contracts as opposed to having casual laborers. And he also emphasized that he would push to create government supported labor centers. But in there, he also emphasized and encouraged Ugandans to go for commercial farming, because through commercial farming, a lot of employment job opportunities are recognized. It was a colorful event. I did follow it, and welcome back to you who went to Nakapiripirit in Karamoja region. Hopefully you traveled back safe to wherever you had to travel back. Once again, good morning, Uganda. But on a rather sad note, the year 2022 in April 2022, the continent was covered with sad news of the passing on of a gospel artist. Her name was Osinachi. And at that time, there was a lot of stories going on, especially by her husband, that she could have suffered throat cancer. But her family came out to state the facts of and the state of their marriage, that she had been facing domestic violence from her husband, who was arrested at the time. And exactly 3 years later, last month, April 2025, her husband was sentenced to death by hanging for the death of his wife, Osinachi Nwachukwu. Now, it's a sad story that she passed on due to domestic violence, but also there's light because justice has been served, but also a lot of lessons to learn. Men do not beat women. Domestic violence is against the law. It shouldn't even be a thing to be pushed for. It's quite obvious that it's bad. But also women, I understand there are women who butter men in their lives. It's altogether wrong. No one should harm the other physically. If things fall apart, there are many ways to deal with issues as opposed to physically harming someone to prove a point. You never prove anything, and you never earn respect from physically harming someone. Anyways, that being said, good morning once again. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Julie.
How are you?
I'm very fine. More so, yesterday the president made us very happy when he talked about issues of the minimum wage and pledged to follow things up, because this is something that we've been looking for
For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda. Topic of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by...
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby,
you can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Junko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Good morning to you if you have just joined the show. Good morning to you once again if you've been with us since the beginning of the show. My name is Julie Nantaba-Musisi with Robert Chirabo, and we are here for you on this Friday edition as you begin your weekend officially. Now, a number of households, especially in urban centers, employ people we know as house helps or house managers, a decent way to call them. Rather, many people call them house girls, but I find it indecent. I prefer calling them house helps or house managers. Now, they come with a lot of advantages, especially for working families. They help out in managing and keeping everything together while we are also able to evolve and grow in all our desires and passions, as well as purposes and achievements in life. But having them around and dealing with them comes with a lot of nitty-gritties, and every employer has different terms and conditions as to how they work with their house help. So today we are delving into the conversation of particularly having to test house helps HIV status. Should it really be mandatory? Now, like I said, that many employers come with different terms and conditions, especially for those who are married, who have spouses in their homes and have children at that. They feel that they have to take all the different measures they need to ensure the safety of their spouses as well as their children in the home. And for them and to them, HIV testing is a must. But we also know that HIV testing in Uganda should be by one's choice and will. Case in point is the fact that most of these house helps are adults. They're 18 years and above. That means they are ready to, as adults, to make decisions on their own to either take an HIV test willingly or not. Yet, this is still a conundrum for many, many households in Uganda. So that is a topic that we are engaging in today. Feel free to be a part of the conversation and share your opinions. Should house helps take mandatory HIV tests in our homes? Robert, good morning.
Good morning to you, Julie. I know this is a very hard topic to many.
Do you have a house help at home?
Yes, I do.
Okay. There are terms and conditions that you're allowed to disclose, like HIV testing?
There are terms, but HIV testing is not something that I would. Of course, I think in my time we've had about 3 who have tested.
Willingly?
But it was an idea introduced.
Okay.
And they say, I'm okay with it.
Yes.
And of course, a home is run by 2 people. Certain things you may not be there for them, but circumstances you will compel you to be.
That's true.
Now, first and foremost, when you look at our laws that govern the land of a country known as Uganda, just to give us good guidance of the topic of the day. Now, in Uganda, we all know that HIV/AIDS testing is voluntary. We do not have any law whatsoever that compels a person. Of course, you have exceptions that we are going to be looking at. But so far, we know very well that in Uganda, anything to do with HIV, you cannot force someone if they are not willing, except for criminal proceedings. Like if there's been a sexual offense, there we know someone has raped, it's a case of defilement, then they'll take this person for HIV testing. One, to see if it's just happened, how they can protect the life of the victim, and also to help in prosecution. Now, it is not written anywhere that maids in Uganda must be tested.
Okay.
And don't forget that the law does not compel them. So it is voluntarily, like I said. If you introduce the idea to her and say, well, in my house, this is not a must, but it helps you, it helps me. However, let's first of all understand what are the intentions, because the time I've spent or I spent covering court and crime, I found out something very important before the judges and magistrates, that in a crime, they look for an intention. What was your intention? For example, there is murder, there is manslaughter, but also you find that someone has not been convicted of murder. And they will tell you the intention of this person was not to kill. It was in self-defense. So they look at what the intention has been. Was your intention deliberate? Did you organize? There's what they call malice at first thought. Did you plan this thing that Robert lives somewhere, lay him here? Or was it so? Let's look at the intention. Is it good intention that these people are testing housemaids? Even before you go to stigmatization. Because I know many, when this person is discovered to be HIV positive, the contract is cancelled, she's taken back. Now, what was the intention? Was it to test that if she's positive, she retains her job, but you put her on medication? So that she does not deteriorate, but she can also still work for you. Now, most of the people, when they find this young girl, these people that come above it in the house helpers, positive, it is a ticket, go back.
And indeed, let's talk about that. The 2014 HIV and AIDS Prevention Act states that it's the patient, it's illegal for the results of the patient to be disclosed to anyone else outside of the patient, right? And many times when employers find out that the patient is HIV positive, yes, indeed, like you've mentioned, it's a dismissal. In fact, I was reading a report from the VOA where this report was carried out, and a few case points. A help had a friend where they were both tested. This help, obviously, according to her, she was discovered negative, but her friend was discovered positive. And unfortunately, her employers talked about it. It didn't stop with them. They talked about it broadly with whoever.
Yeah, it is very common here. What happened to your maid?
Yes, and this barred her from getting more employment. So she was put on medicines, she was, you know, rehabilitated and counseled and taken through the right procedures for her health, but unfortunately for her employment bit of life, it was deterred that she could not work in any home because of her HIV status being disclosed, which is really, really, really sad. Now, do you think employers should state their terms and conditions before the helps come forth, so that a help knows they either can work or not work in that particular home?
That would be okay, because we've seen certain forms of employment. For example, immigrant workers, the young girls that leave this country to go and work abroad. They know very well if you're going to Saudi to work, these companies will want a medical report, and among the tests they carry out is HIV/AIDS. So you go knowing. We've seen in the UPDF, and I stand to be corrected, that HIV test is a must. And if you fail the HIV test, I don't think you have space in the army as a recruit. If you fail the HIV test, I don't think you're going to secure your journey to Saudi Arabia as a domestic worker. So this is something you come knowing, that these are part of the requirements for the job I'm going for. And I don't have any offense in that, because you already know that one of the requirements is I must be HIV negative. And you may even test and prepare yourself before going for this, because it is you who is choosing. I want to tell you, for the time I've done some bit of investigative stories and also health stories, I've found out that even when couples are going for HIV testing, usually when they know that need to do an HIV test, one goes prior that day they are going.
Okay.
So by the time they go for this test, if it is me and you, we are lovers. And I'm like, but Judy, I think now we should go and do an HIV test. So when we meet Saturday, we go do an HIV test. Today, Friday, Judy, you're going to go and have that test and know you're negative. Stealthily, I'm also going to go and have that test, and I know I'm negative. Now, when we meet to do the test, you already know our status. Then we move together.
But we are both doing it in hiding.
In hiding.
For what purpose?
Because people want to be prepared. Because I know, supposing we go to test and the results come out, I'm positive, you're negative. It means you're going to break, definitely. And I'm not sure that you're going to keep this as a secret. So when I find I'm positive, I'll dodge. And ensure we don't go for that testing, or something happens, and I even tell you, now what is the reason we should go for that test? Because we've already been together, now that test to be the case, only for you along the road to discover that this is happening. Now, even most of the people who go for recruitment in the UPDF, they have already done this test, they have prepared their minds, they have been cancelled and failed. The girls that go to Saudi, they have already done the test. By the time they are subjected, but a housemaid who comes from Tororo, now that was split, it's going to be split in some districts, or from Nakapiti, wherever you're coming from, coming to work in someone's home that you know, and you get there, you're from the village, you're welcomed in their home, then daddy comes back and says, Mommy, did she go for that test? The young girl is like, for that test? Yes, the HIV test.
So imagine a scenario of this help hasn't been told, and along the way, the employer chooses to have that test taken, and the employee refuses. How exactly should the law deal with that?
Well,
whose right is protected, because the employee has all the right not to test, because it's by will, according to the law.
Yes.
And the employer also has a say and a right to protect their own household by knowing the HIV status of the person they are employing.
Let me ask you.
Because of the children they
just
have.
Pause it there.
Yes.
Julie.
Yes, please.
What is your interest as the employer in knowing my HIV status?
With the cases we've seen with house helps, many times there's less trust for the people we leave at home, especially with children. The issue of children is so sensitive that yes, people leave helps with their children with the helps, but at the end of the day, you do not know what happens when you're not around. You do not know what this help does. I'll share a case in point of my own experience as a child. I remember this one time the help at home took me to a bar, and a metal bar cut me from the bar. But she told me never to say a thing, never to tell whatsoever. So I had the wound anyways, but I never told, and life went by. But now let's switch the...
You've just reminded me of a lady we asked.
Yes.
Why would you force this housemaid? And she said, my friend, I have youth in my home.
Yes.
Sons that are growing up. I have teenagers. And then she added, I have a husband.
Okay.
She said, a home can be destroyed. When my children are in boarding school, my husband can mess with this maid, and that will infect me. I'm also not sure when we both go to work and the boys are back in holidays, if they can mess with the house girl and they contract HIV. And I asked her, is that the reason? For sure, you're subjecting her. He said, Chirabo, for me, those are the reasons a family can be destroyed by a housemate. I said, instead of guarding your family against immorality, talking to your children, talking to your husband, you know, to be responsible. Why would a husband fall in love with a husband?
Like you mentioned, you clearly know that she's protecting herself ultimately. Herself. She
by
talks
violating
to the
right.
She talks to the husband, yes. She talks to the children, yes, but they're their own humans. There's a lot, there's as far as she can go to control them, and there's a point where they're out of her control. But she has to protect her own life. And you could tell from her reasoning that ultimately, especially with her husband, it's about her. She cannot get infected just in case her husband messed around. So in a way, there's a justification for her to want to know the HIV status of the person who's managing her home. Because in case anything happened, there's place for forgiveness, but at least there's also place for her health being in perfect condition without having contracted it from her husband, who contracted it from the house help, supposedly. So there's a justification there. There's the law, but there's also the justification. And I really, someone with the expertise from the law would get in touch and share their expert opinion on this. But please feel free to be a part of the show, 0709602592. Share your WhatsApp message and share your opinion on that. Now, let me read a couple of your messages. Good morning, Uganda. I'm Mwase Abubakar from Jinja District. Don't you think these suggestions can bring in minds of persons with HIV to say that they are being discriminated? I think we need to make laws which can guide the house helper or punish them in case of their misbehaving. That is Mwase Abubakar, but there's also Hussein, who says, good morning, Uganda. The problem of Ugandans, we are confused, whereby, okay, I think you're talking about something different that is not connected to what the conversation we are having. So keep those comments coming in. Should house helps, house managers have mandatory HIV tests? Do share your opinion.
Very interesting when someone, because I was also looking at the element of discrimination.
Yes.
And stigma.
Stigmatization.
Because now, if you find out that this person is negative, first of all, they'll still have these questions. That supposing this people discovered I was positive, were they going to keep me? And maybe the answer would be no. Now already there is that, something ringing in their hearts and in their minds, that these people are not taking me as part of family. Because a person, of course, these are employers, but there's a way we bond with them and take them like family. Because they know now, this is the first step, that if things don't go right, you're not part of us. If you're positive, you go. And this is stigmatization as well. Because our laws are clear, HIV testing is voluntarily. It is me, it is out of my will. Now, if you make it if you ambush me, because you've not prepared me, psychologically know that what I'm going in for, this is a requirement. Second, I find that this, in the fight against HIV, is also another problem in one way or the other. Because it is like showing these people that if you chase this person away from your home because simply they have tested positive, it's like denying them their right to employment. Which is a violation of their right. Now, we bring this in relation that yesterday was International Labor Day. Now, you do not discriminate people or deprive them of their right to work simply because they have tested positive. It is illegal in our laws. But these are things we are discussing today that are happening daily. And what hurts is this person is then put on a bus.
Back to their village.
Back to their village. And the talk continues. Oh, my maid, can you believe that young girl? How did she acquire it? Can you believe? And though she can, are even my children safe? Can you believe? So you're not bringing a solution, but you're worsening a situation of someone who is going to go back in the village and they will ask, why have you come back? The person who has, these days maids, we don't get them from institutions here. From a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend someone is looking for a maid.
Or they're not particularly agencies, but there are people who are winging, who have
now, that
chains.
person will tell the people back, she was discovered to be positive, Boswena Mugoba. You see the mess that is surrounding all this, and it is continuing. And movements are not coming out to say, this must stop. Of course, one will tell me, Chirabo, I'm leaving this person with my children. Now that's where also the confusion comes the other side. Yes, we are looking at the rights of the housemaid, the house helper, but also the fear of a mother like Julie, who lives at 4:30, who leaves home at 4:30, and maybe the husband is going to leave at 6, children on holidays, and we shall return, given a jam and all that, at 10 or past 10. And you have toddlers. I wouldn't go to the other immoral thing of the husbands sneaking back and then the teenagers in the house also doing, no, I wouldn't go, but I'm looking at this. So both sides, there is a puzzle.
So what should employers do? The best solutions they should employ as we all wait for the law to take its course.
Well, first I'm so interested in what our viewers would give us.
They're sharing their opinions.
When you ask what they should do,
yes,
as a parent, I'm also caught in the mix. First, I think it's very important that you make it clear at the onset. Look for me a maid who is willing to do an HIV test. Make it clear. Like usually say, I need a maid from this range, 150.
But I love the language you're using. I love the language you're using. When you say, get me a help who is willing to take an HIV test. Because if that language is kept and maintained, willing to take an HIV test, to me it sounds and it screams that even if they are positive, I'm willing to figure out ways of coexisting with them in my home, for as long as they are willing to be that open with me, so that we both find solutions of how they can coexist comfortably with their status as they improve and grow and evolve in life, while I also monitor how they, how they live in my home, as opposed to each party living ignorantly.
Because remember, this person will have to take medication.
Yeah, you monitor if they have taken their medication.
Take her to a health facility where she'll be able to get her drugs, because now she has shifted location.
In case of TB,
she's monitored. Of TB, and of course with TB, the good thing is there are drugs that you take and prevent it even when you have HIV/AIDS. It's just that people are ignorant about that and they keep on associating HIV/AIDS with tuberculosis. But there are tablets, there is medication. I've forgotten the term they use, the doctors, in that a person takes. Even if you're treating a person with TB, you can take those tabs and you'll never contract tuberculosis. Now, who is willing? But the question is, when that person arrives and tests positive, are you, the employer, willing to retain her? Are you willing to walk down the lane of drug stockouts? Sometimes if you say she's not feeling fine, are you willing to come back early home and give her a hand? But don't forget, if someone is on medication and they stick to their medication and they are positive, there is what we call suppressing the viral load. And that is where some pastors, I'm sorry to say I'm a born-again pastor, I love my church, Life Church Namasua. But that is where some people, when they take the tabs continuously and properly, the viral load is reduced. They are not able to pass on HIV/AIDS. And some, even if they carry out these common tests, they may test negative. Now, this is where they say, I've been healed. And the pastor says, a miracle, miracle. I don't doubt healing, the healing power of God. But science, we shouldn't play on science to call them miracles unless it's out of ignorance. So if you maintain this housemaid in your home, she sticks to her medication properly, she's going to be productive like anybody. These are realities we must accept. She's going to be productive like anybody. And many of you, even you employing these people, you're positive, but you're on medication. Now, even those that are not positive and they are negative, a person with HIV/AIDS lives a normal life just like you. The difference is they have to take their drugs and take them on time. And today things have changed. People used to take 16 tablets. A person may take 2. I got this from Major Waramila Ranga, one of the icons of HIV/AIDS in this country. And he was telling me, now injections have also, science is coming up. Why should you segregate this person because they have tested positive and deny them their right to employment? But it takes a well-thought family.
Yeah, true.
For the wife to say, we can leave her with these children, it takes a well-understanding and mature maid or house help as well. These people have accepted me. They are willing to help me live longer. You know, they are willing to walk me through the journey of recovery. Not recovery, but the journey of living a normal life despite being positive. But the biggest challenge is, I want to think that 90% of homes that will be in definite suspension from their home.
Now, while you share your perspective, do not be disgruntled and do not, may your emotions stay intact as we talk about this. We are here to learn and relearn, and we shall later on soothe you with a saxophone performance, so stay tuned to UBC. But this conversation obviously does continue, so share your opinion to 0709 602 592. Should house helps take mandatory HIV tests in our homes? Now, to read some of your comments, Cricket Gagamel, you say, good morning, Julie and Robert. I think knowing your status is for one's own safety and it shouldn't be mandatory. But I think here the bosses and employers or employers of those house helps have interest in them. And they usually take advantage of them in the absence of their wives. Remember, these are desperate and vulnerable people, and in most cases, do not hesitate. But however, we can't shy away from the fact that HIV victims are expected not to give effective service delivery due to what they fight within mentally. Yeah, there's a point to there indeed. There's a lot of mental disturbances for them. I do agree with you. Cricket. Good morning, Uganda. This is Semanda Ronald. In my opinion, I think it should be a mandate since we are going to stay with this person as a family. I remain Semanda Ronald from Wakiso. And Ochan Haron, you say, psychologically, it's too traumatizing, honestly, to realize that, a sexual network with a family. And good morning, UBC. I'm Ogwang Dickens from Machindie. I think it should be a must to test a house help for sexually transmitted diseases because a male or female, be it a male or female, because the word house brings such a person to be part of the family. Giving an example of the lady Chirabo talks about is very right, because even the lady who gave Abraham the first child was a house help. When people are in the house, anything can be possible. Let's stay safe and continue moving towards achieving our goals. There is something I've noticed that is rather interesting. The fact that it's males contributing to this topic more than the females. I wonder where the female counterparts
Just
are.
reminding me of someone who told me that housemaids, and please don't misquote me.
Yeah.
I know my beautiful could be watching. And she's like, now, they told me a housemaid comes from the village.
Yeah.
But after a year, she's very different. And if madam is not very smart, many of them may even be a better preference in appearance. So some men may slide into that trap.
The temptation.
You know, she's now eating better, feeding better, sleeping better. And if some are very, you know, you look at the two beautiful ladies in your home at the end of the day. Now, you must be psychologically right, because to me, I want to believe any man who would do that mistake has a mental problem.
So for all the men who have...
All the men who are who you have a house, you have a housemaid, you have a wife, and you've
subjected them to mental...
No.
Mental illnesses.
Things, you see, the men sometimes we want to comfort ourselves.
Yes.
We are men. You see, these things happen.
I hear you.
But we forget that when God created man, he gave us a sense of judgment. There's a difference between me and a dog. You know? Because I have self-control.
He gave you the power of self-control.
You know?
Which you choose.
Which I choose to say no matter what. If the temptation is so much, we rather fire her and get another. And
still there's advice that flee from temptation,
flee.
As opposed to
so
going
I know, and like I said earlier, we are discussing something that happens daily in people's homes. That these young girls come from wherever they come to work. They are not told about the HIV test. They are found positive, then they are fired. They go back to the village.
Let's flip the coin a little bit, Robert. There are helps who come with missions. We've seen these cases. They know their status anyways, but they are not yet healed from the inside. They are also, you know, they say that hurt people. It's true. It's not that just that, but we see hurt people hurt others. You get this person, human being from wherever she has come from. She has had her own story behind her. She travels with it, obviously. She's still dealing with life, and she comes with whatever traumas she has, which are not to be judged, right? But she is human at the end of the day. And most of them, under such circumstances, come with intentions of, I'm going as a help, but at the end of the day, I have a mission, either to infect others, or maybe to also get myself a husband through the man I'll find in the home. Many of them come with a purpose and very strategic under the guise of being house helps. So how best do you think one can put their mind around that, especially when it comes to children? Because we see now children are not as safe still with helps. Yes, it's a risk taken, but for someone who wants to continue that infection, they could just cut blood or inject blood into a child.
Now, I'll go back to what I earlier said. Make yourself clear that for me, if you're looking for me a housemaid, she must have taken an HIV test and willing to take another on arrival. Now, if she takes an HIV test, she has prepared herself. I don't know how many people have ever taken an HIV test, because even here in Uganda, our percentages of testing are very low. And I'm afraid every time we talk about ending new infections by 2030, if you are going to achieve that, I'm very afraid, because the policy there is called the 95-95, that let 95% of all people in that country test for HIV/AIDS. 95% of the population now. The 95% of the population that test for HIV and are found positive, we want 95% of them to start medication and stick to medication and take their medication right. Now, when the 95 of the 95 that tested and were found positive stick to medication, what we know is we shall suppress the viral load. Now, these people will not be able to pass on HIV/AIDS to create new infections. That's why we are saying end HIV/AIDS by 2030. So if these people are on medication and they're not passing on HIV/AIDS, you won't have new infections, because already others who will be infected will also be on treatment.
Yes.
Therefore, we shall not have new cases. We shall treat the old. But Ugandans, I don't know how many, the fear. I've seen people go for testing, and you even see someone shivering. And the counselors have to ask, but are you ready, or should you do it another time? Or, and the person comes out to be negative.
Yeah.
But the way they were shivering, the way they were testing, some will even tell you, rather bring a grader to take me for testing, I can never.
And then why do you play around? Anyways, it's such a sensitive topic. Let's close with your comments. I'm impressed by the fact that it's mostly the male that are contributing to this particular conversation. How about you test the help and she tests negative, but the bosses are positive? Wouldn't that be a double standard? Erasmus, talk about it. I know, right? Good morning,
is not safe in that home.
Firstly, what is the motive behind testing?
Yes.
Is it to allow free relationship encounters or to allow the employers select partners? Secondly, it would work better if both parties, the employing family and the house help, are tested at the same time. This is Nyeko Daniel. Paul, you say mandatory HIV testing for house helps is a complex issue. It's essential to prioritize voluntary testing, education and awareness while respecting human rights and dignity. Good morning, UBC. My name is Emmanuel Bulabula from Malawi. House helps should go for mandatory HIV testing. Where someone feels unprotected, it should be a must. And lastly, this one comes from Wutoy J. Yes, they are to take that test. Let me stop being cocks that, okay, let them stop being cocks that jump to the next chicken. Wow. And throughout this whole interaction, I've only seen the face of one lady coming through. Very impressed at that, but thank you so much for being a part of the show. We do have a saxophone performance coming through for you and more entertainment on the show because it's a Friday edition on GMU, so stay tuned. Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Buza Kamiso now, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Ghetto structure okusoka fetwali twepima nga ghetto structure tenabeerawo bali batugoba nga bintu siga kubeera nga meetinga mu mwaite musowana kutu meetinga batulaga bagenda tulondesa obukulembeze ne batulaga nti tulina okweteekateeka ne batulaga nti mu bayamba mulina okubeera ne sako era essaawa zino eno nakasente tukayina mwekalimu ofiisi tukakozesa babeneficiaries abantu ab'omu ghetto wansi tuyanziza nnyo His Excellency the President of Uganda Brigadier General Damulira Nejaima Kuteesa House Controller anti-ghetto tumuyita anti-ghetto structure kati mulimu nze nagufuula mulimu office eno ghetto structure mulimu kati gwenkola sikyalina kyenkola kyonna banaye ba ghetto youth mwenna bakubiriza ghetto structure yazze n'emikono ebiri ebeere ng'etuyambako oba ng'etujjayo yonna gye tuli ng'etusupportinga mu buli kimu veeyo akasente mwe kali mu office ak'okwekulaakulanya mutuukire office ensonga zammwe zonna zigenda kukolebwako.
Nsooka okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga okututeekateeka. Twali tetunnaba kuteekebwateekebwa, twafuna okusoomoozebwa nga kungi nnyo. Omuli okutukwata abasirikale, olumu nga tetulina na kitukoze. Kale nga n'akasente k'oba osonzeewo ggwe nga ggwe akagenda okukuyambako mu bizibu byo, nga weekanga okawadde abasirikale. Naye okuva ffe ghetto structure we yayimirirawo ebintu bingi byakyuka. Abaana baffe tebakyabakwata nnyo okuggyako abo abamenyi b'amateeka. Ne be bakutte nga babakwatidde mu ghetto ng'ekikwekweto kibadde kiyise. Nabo tulina omukisa ogugenda okubajjayo. Abasirikale batuwulira. Abasirikale batuwulira. Toyinza kugenda ku poliisi n'ogamba DPC nti bakutte omwana wange ng'akumanyi nti oli komanda. N'atateekayo nnyo maanyi kukola ki? Kumujjayo. Ne neebaza bakama baffe General Damulira, Afande Kuteesa, nange tweyanziza nnyo mukoze kyamaanyi, bo bakoze kyamaanyi nnyo tuteekateeka. Kuba bwe twamala okuyingira ghetto structure ne batuteekerawo n'essako. ne certificate twazifuna. Kati batekerawo saka eyo. Era muzeeyi n'amala n'atuukiriza kye yatugamba n'atuteekeramu ssente. Era kati eno essaawa gye tuliko tuwola abaana, tuwola ba ghetto youth, ababadde balina bizinesi zaabwe naye nga zibulamu ebyokkola. Tugenda tubawa okutwaliza wamu katuli bulungi, tetuli bubi nnyo, era twebaliza ddala President Museveni okutukolera ekintu ekyo kuba mu butuufu twali.
Njagala okwebaza olw'enteekateeka eno gavumenti gye yatondawo ey'okulaba nga omuntu wa wansi, omuntu omuwejjero wa ghetto afiibwako. Nti nga ghettos eriyo embeera eyaliwo nga si nnungi. Okugezeza ddala mu nteekateeka eno nga tennajja, abaana bangi baakwatibwanga, naye bukya enteekateeka eno ejja, bintu bingi bituukiddwako, naddala mu nteekateeka z'ebyokwerinda, security, wamu n'enkulaakulana. Nga tuyita mu nkola gye bayita eya ghetto structure. Ghetto structure kwe kulonda obukulembeze okuviira ddala ku ghetto esookebwako ku kyalo, ne tubeera ne ba coordinators ku muluka paka eno gye tuli. Omwaka guno yatuwa ssente obukadde 100 wano emikono twabufuna. Era mu nfuna ya ssente zino twagala okwebaza Oweekitiibwa President. Ssente zino ziyambye nnyo abantu ba ghetto. Abantu ba ghetto nakubadde gavumenti ebadde n'emiwaatwa mingi gyeyisaamu ssente zaayo okutuuka ku bantu zibayambye, naye ssente ezo zibadde tezituuka ku bantu ba ghetto. Ssente zino bannaghetto tuzibawadde era bazifunyeemu. Ebiseera ebisinga wali emabega abantu ba ghetto abamu baali bennyamivu nga bamanyi nti gavumenti yabavaako, era ng'osanga abantu abamu mu ghetto nga tebalinaamu nsonga. Oli akugamba ekimbeeza mu ghetto noonyeza emirimu Uganda wonna gibuze. Twagala okusima pulezidenti w'eggwanga kubanga ssente ze yatuwa twazifuna, era gwe guno omulundi ogwasookera ddala nga bannaghetto mu Uganda. Era twagala okumwebaza okutwagalira ddala n'atuwa ne ku ssente ezikola. Ffenaffe twagala kumusuubiza nti abalaba gye bamulabira nti akadde ate kati ffe olw'okuba yaakatutandikako tulaba nga yaakavubuka, era twagala n'okumulaga amaanyi 26 oba ki ebyatuswaza edda mu mukono twagala okubimalawo mu 2026, tugatteko amaanyi tumwebaze olw'omutima ogwagala abantu ba bulijjo naddala ffe bannaghetto.
Era bonna tunafuna kasente wano nkugenda n'osuubula ekintu nga basobodde okukola naye nga tolina ka capital kati kamala. Naye kati kuba batandika otuwa ku kasente kati tulaba kati mino gitambulatambulako bulungi. Obulamu bwange tebwali bulungi ku byenfuna kubanga emirimu tulina ebirimu byaffe gya mu mutwe, naye ng'oluusi n'olumanyi olina osuubula amati omwokolamu ekyo ebintu ebyo kaneze ng'emipiira ng'egyo tusala busi z'emmotoka, naye kati nga muntu akuleetera polopera y'emmotoka nga tolina sente zigula matiriyo. Naye kati batuwa akasente n'ogula ebintu ne bibeerawo, kasoma n'ajja n'omukolera ekintu n'agenda n'akusasula akasente. Obulamu bwange bwali tebwali bulungi kuba buli oba ng'ebyenfuna si birungi tosobola kuba bulungi. Era ngwe nkubira abavubuka ba ghetto nti bannaaye tujumbire okola kuba buli oba okola gavumenti naye ekudduukire nekusanga w'okolera nekukolera akasente. Tweyanza nnyo pulezidenti Oweekitiibwa Pulezidenti tuterawo ghetto ya Sako naffe otuddukire n'abantu b'ewansi twongera mu kabizinensi kaffe naffe tusobole okwekulaakulanya.
The Sako started 5 years back with 15 members who were part of the executive, and we managed to use the same 15 members to mobilize the youth and come in to make the 16 associations. So each member took a thought of gathering, mobilizing the 15 people to make associations. So the Sako was established. We happened to have 229 members that qualified for 30 millions, which we got in 2021. We used the 30 millions from the presidential initiative to buy the 6 motorcycles, which was a small number to benefit the 229 members, but we managed to use it. The 6 border helped us to go under saving culture. We managed to group our members into 15-15 for saving culture. So the saving culture is 15 groups. They could get 12,000 per day, which 12,000 at the end of the month manages to buy 1 motorcycle. That 1 motorcycle is shared among the 15, so they vote who to take it. The 15 kept on until the 15 months. Every member had to get 1.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again, Uganda. The weekend has officially started, and like we promised earlier, we would have a saxophone performance for you. Cass D Sax is here for you to perform, to give you a good performance for your Friday and to get those chills out of you. It's a cold Friday morning, but it's okay because we made sure that at GMU today, we bring you a saxophonist to give you a great performance and get your day started in style. Once again, good morning. My name is Julie Nantaba Mosisi, and with me is Cass D Sax. Good morning. Are you greeting us with a saxophone greeting? All right. Amazing. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming. It's good to have you.
Honored to be here.
Amazing, amazing. So I will just ask you this one thing, because one thing for sure is we want you to take us away and sweep our feet away with your saxophone and with your performance. But I'll just ask, what inspires you to do what you do?
I think life will really inspire me. Like everything around me inspires me.
Everything around you?
Yes, I really like people to enjoy the instrument. That's it.
Okay.
It keeps me going.
Okay.
Once I plan, people enjoy it. It also keeps me going all the time. So I'm really humbled.
And because you inspire him to keep on playing the saxophone, how about you inspire him the more as he plays it? Take us away.
It's Rixie up
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Once again, welcome back from that saxophone performance, and the last song did it for me. I hope it did you well. I hope those 3 pieces did you well. Now Cass de Sax will be coming back a little later to give you more of his performance. But for now, let's delve into the movie scene, especially as you prepare for your weekend and what to look forward to as you plan to stay indoors, especially for you who plans to stay indoors, to catch up on your movies for your leisure time. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi. It's Good Morning Uganda, and the movie we are starting with today is Exterritorial. It's a 2025 German action movie, action thriller at that, and it's directed and written by Christian Zoibat and starring Jean Gossard, Douglas Scott, and Lera Abova. Now, the plot of this particular movie is really interesting because it's about Sarah, a special forces soldier, and during a visit to the United States consulate in Frankfurt, her son disappears. However, no one remembers her son entering the building. She is therefore asked to leave the consulate. Instead, Sarah goes into hiding and in the building and goes in for a search for herself. Take a look at the trailer of that particular one.
Ich bin im US-Konsulat in Frankfurt.
Sie ist allein gecheckt.
Wir kommen wegen eines H1-Arbeitsvisums. Josh? Mein Sohn ist verschwunden. Ich will bitte mit der deutschen Polizei sprechen.
Deutsche Behörden und Polizei haben dort keine Befugnis.
Irgendjemand hier hat Josh entführt und will's vertuschen.
Find her. But keep it quiet.
She's just a scared mother.
Was bist du dann? Ich bin für sowas ausgebildet.
Sie ist eine Kämpferin. Ich habe sie unterschätzt.
Wo ist Josh?
It's already out on Netflix as of April 30th. I'm looking forward to watching this one for the love of German culture and the fact that it's the main character is a woman in action. I'm definitely looking forward. Now, the film production was produced, the film was produced by Constantine Television, with Karsten Schmidt-Bauer as the producer. And if you love your picture and are critical with your cinematography, the DOP of this one was Matthias Polch on this particular one. So it's already on Netflix. Get ready and look forward to catching up with that particular one. Now, the other movie that we are looking at is Havoc. Havoc is a 2025 action thriller film as well, written and directed by Gareth Evans. And this particular one is this particular one's plot is a gang of thieves that gets together and to steal a batch of washing machines. Can you imagine? Now, these washing machines contain a hidden shipment of cocaine, and they are pursued by Vincent Hayes, Jake, and Cortez, a group of narcotic squad, but detectives at the same time. Let's take a look at the trailer.
What you got for me? Oh.
We got footage of our suspect. Do you know him?
My son is not a killer.
This kid is public enemy #1.
Your son just started a gang war. They just want to shoot him dead. That's the end of his story.
I make one phone call. You go down for life. Get him back.
I'm gonna get you out.
Ain't up for discussion.
There are people out there looking for you.
You're not gonna get out of this city alive without my help.
Don't forget, I know what you did.
You have no idea what I did.
Highlight for me on this particular cast, but it also has Tom Hardy, Jessie May, Justin Cornwell, Quellin Sepulveda, and Louis Guzman on this particular one. It was started production really on 19th February 2021, and now is already available on Netflix as of April 25th, 2025. So you can catch up with it. It's already on Netflix. But looking at our third inspiration for movies that you can look forward to is Locked. This one as well is a 2025 American action thriller directed by David Yarovesky. And its plot is really about unable to afford to repair his van, Eddie Barish cannot pick up his daughter, Sarah, from school. And desperate, he steals a mechanic's wallet and buys lottery tickets, makes fruitless calls to borrow money, and searches for unattended cars to rob. That is quite interesting. Let's take a look at the trailer.
My name is William. I'm the owner of this car.
What do you want?
Thou shalt not steal. That's not complicated, is it?
Did you just tase me?
I want you to experience the consequences of your actions.
Let me out! 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 Hey! Help me! Ah!
Do I have your attention now? I've invested a lot of time and money into this project. The walls are bulletproof. I've also jammed the cellular.
So this was your plan? To let me die?
Let you die? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Wouldn't want to ruin all the fun, would I?
Just tell me what you want.
I just want to introduce you.
trailer there. Now, this particular one has an amazing cast. Bill Skarsgård as Eddie Barish, Anthony Hopkins as William, and Michael Eklund as Carl. Its production started in February 2023 all the way into December 2023, and it's already out, so it's one that you could look forward to. But if you are to ask me personal opinion, I would definitely recommend Exterritorial out of these three. But ultimately, we've given you all the three, so choose all the three, or two of them, or one of them, and get to enjoy your weekend away. It's Good Morning Uganda. That's all we've had for the movie recommendations. But Good Morning Uganda does continue, and we do have an artist coming through, Unique Boy. He will be performing for you as well, and Cass DeSax will be coming on a little later on. So a lot of music for you to enjoy on this cold Friday morning. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by...
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Buza Kamiso now, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear Chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling Chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner. In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
neebaza Pulezidenti Museveni okusingira ddala eyaleeta omwoga kubanga ffe omwoga twali tetugutegeera okubanga yatuyamba mu mbeera embi gye twalimu naddala ffe abavubi kubanga ffe twali baatugaana okukoola okugenda ku mazzi nga bw'omanyi abavubi batugamba nti ennyanja tesenguka sente tezaatumala mu covid baasanga tuli bakalu bulungi naye muzeeyi n'alagira batuwe era ne tukola essaako mu sipiidi ne tuteekamu ssente ne batuteekamu ssente baatuwa miliyoni 3 zaatuukira mu budde ate twali bamaze okutukkiriza ffe abatunda ebyokulya okuddamu okukola ki okukola ne tuziwola abantu ne basuubula ebyennyanja ne bakola ne bazizza ne tuwa abalala.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Now falling in love again. Now falling in love again. Love again, love again, love again. Chimanye, omutima wakutwala. Era chimanye, wabitwala. Wekulowooza olutiko lunefuga bwewoba toliwo olw'empewo neekunta simba ebyo ebirungo by'omukwano gwe byosisa ennyindo ne zisiriwala obudde buzibye mukwano njagala kumulabako kimanye omutima wagutwala guno omutima gwange n'emmeeme yange na falling in love again kimanye omutima wagutwala guno omutima gwange n'emmeeme yange na falling in love again buli kumaca gasiba ku mutima gwo onyirira kufa olina kala ya Katonda nkukadde kumaca mukwano kutunula nkaliriza nze kaguba emiyaga negujja sizibiriza omukwano gwo gulinga kasana k'okumaca mpulira gunsikasika newemba mu masuka njagala okiŋŋambe nga kiva ku mutima gwo nga ndi naawe ng'olina ngediya everything is possible kimanye omutima wakutwala omutima gwange n'emmeeme yange na falling in love again kimanye omutima wakutwala omutima gwange n'emmeeme yange na falling in love again wansukako kati onsuza mbire omukwano gwo wamma gumpunyirakawo leero nsazeewo ngulecapa mu mutima gwo otukula nnyo nabangulaba mu kizikiza kimanye omutima wokutwala omutima gwange n'emmeeme yange na falling in love again kimanye omutima wokutwala omutima gwange n'emmeeme yange na falling in love again nakuno mwana na falling in love again nakuno wange na falling in love again nakuno mwana na falling in love again.
Good morning, Uganda. Good morning, Uganda. That is Unique Boy with the song Falling in Love. And I was taken up by the performance. Very interesting video there, as well as his performance. He's in studio with us, and he is indeed going to perform a lot of his songs and take us away on this very, very chilled Friday. Hopefully, we are warming you on this GMU Friday edition. My name once again is Julie Nantaba. Musisi, good morning, Unique Boy. How are you?
I'm very fine.
You're welcome to UBC.
Thank you.
Exactly. How many songs do you have so far?
Now nyimba satu. Ezagwa ezabukolebwa. Yeah.
With videos?
Videos too. And I'm just nakola video like in a project and that is chali mu studio. Yeah.
Nga meka winayo kati nyimba meka ziri mu studio.
In studio na nyimba 2. Yes.
Who inspired you into music?
Juliana.
Hey.
Oh, matira bingi.
Have you met her before? Not yet. Tonda musisinkanako. Nayo mukisanga gwazze.
Nza n'obutebaka.
Luyimba ki olwa Juliana olukunyumira?
Juliana nabikoowa nsinga kunyumira nabikoowa.
Lwaki nabikoowa okusinga?
Alinako nze amaloboozi ge kale engeri gye yayimba oluyimba luli emotion. Kunyumira. Nekuteekewa.
Soko toyimbiremu oluyimba lwa Juliana olukunyumira. Luli lwa gundi si lwa Irene Nambiru?
Luli wamu lwa Irene Nambiru.
Olwo si lwa Juliana. Naye tuyimbiremu okubiri olukwanguyira.
Okay. Manes. Nanonya mitawana baby 2 times njagala nchikugambe kati ewange you are my future mompe uli sweta yewa nkuwesa omutima empumpumpu my shooter wabulo nina bustairo obumazeyo mama obumazeyo kano kavaibu kakuteyo kakuteyo da enzo nina onina omubiri nkulaba olina onina atikwata wano efiri ziri munze oli munamuze olw'omukwano gonja kufuuka badi era kukotteko okuba nze ndi gaadi batulabe nga tukulukota kagaali oh baby nakulaba nga twesana mubigambo binina nga byegatta mbadde nkwesunga kano kotuuse nkwewulira kuno mubiri gwogulina kuno mubiri wabula nnina bustayira abumazeyo kano kavaibu kakuteyo da enzo nina enzo nina olwabulungiwo osana praise olwabulungiwo osana praise Osana praise, Osana praise, oh na 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 na. nze nakowala bweyo kwegula nalimanyi ko gwevunya kitagala ekumbe natomera kizikiza akati mboneredde labo wekomye mpuse komando kazabike kasite byange tolina kwekyotute kabibe biwundu ndeka nze labo sikudira kuno mutima wantagula nze labo sikudira oh no kuno mutima wantagula nali simanyi nti biruma bwe biti nalinako ebintu byamuhabadi ntaba kutate nkola ensobi nze n'omutima gwange katwegumye nze n'omutima gwange katwegumye nze n'omutima gwange katwegumye byonna wabikola kugwegwekomye nalwawo okubuka kwebyo byonkoze omuguwa muwula gategwotuze kati mboneredde labo wekomye enfuse kumado kazabike kasiti byange tolina kwekyotute habibiwundundeka anze labo sikudira kuno omutima wantagula nze labo sikudira kuno omutima wantagula nalisimanyi oh nana you are taking for granted you granted night unique baba unique baba oh nze nyumirwa nnyo kutunuulira olw'obulungi bondeka nkwetegereze bwe wajjula mirembe akawooko tekava mu kisenge nze yegwe anjayanya ebyange gwobisaana baby wenkulowooza my love is full but of roses nze love unagigudde aexika kugudde nze gwe yali yagimalamu nze nontabula nze love unagigudde aexika kuguddemu ye gwe wali wagimalamu kati mbulira kumanya gyoyita mpulira bangi bakwefasa tebakimanyi tegwe wange gyosula mulekete mumulisa mukene ewange mulaba mwembaga makeke labujinjire nze nantobe ab'emimwa abatandika embuwandoze nawali bawalali bawonga ntuse ngeno omukwano guninye bano bawoza mulabu tugiwakadde ngeno obudde bukute hey unique bobo yeah oh na 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 nze love unagigudde gwe exika kuguddemu nze gwe wali wagimalamu nze love unagigudde gwe exika kugudde ye gwe yali yagimalamu no unique bobo oh na 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 nze nyumirwa nnyo kutunuulira nnyo oh nyumirwa nnyo nyumirwa nnyo oh na 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 say oh na 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 Anesanyu wemanawe mbane mirembe nebinuma oba wendi bibera bigwawo oni mwedagala lyange yegwe bulamu bwange nze kolinchawa nsiriona esanyu lina linonya yonna nalifuna amazima nze kati nkutegewa fitina enyigi gye batalaba oba nkuweeki beibe nkuweeki munnange kana kayimba k'omukwano kako kabeera okumeme nkwagala okuzira enzimu endi hani kimanye kati nkutegewa fitina enyigi gye batalaba oba nkuweeki beibe nkuweeki munnange kana kayimba k'omukwano kako kabeera okumeme nkwagala okuzira enzimu endi hani kimanye ekiri nnuma bw'oliddeyo n'otijja n'abalala enoleka nze gwe wali omutima buli kimu ekyange nenkuwa n'emikwano negikyawa buli yakwogerako ekyo kyamunemuta awakiri omulala n'ataba gwe wenasima nti kati nkutegewa fitina enyigi gye batalaba oba nkuweeki beibe nkuweeki munnange kana kayimba k'omukwano kako kabeera okumeme nze nkwagala okuzira enzimu endi Juliana kimanye sikwagala lwakuba sente siri kwebyo siri ngabo omutima kyegunoonya laabu ezo sente wetuba tufunye kirungi ne twesanyusa weziba zibuze ne tuguma nga tubaawo ati nkutegewa fitina enyigi gye batalaba Juliana nkuweeki baby nkuweeki munnange kana kayimba k'omukwano kako kabeera okumeme nkwagala okuzira enzimu endi Juliana kimanye.
Who has just given us that amazing performance, and a tribute to Juliana Kanyamozi, but really the song is by Irene Namubiru. And that particular song, by the way, was released, I think, around the year 2005-2006. Were you born at that time?
Yeah.
Very interesting, but thank you for that great music. However, like kuyimba bulungi, aliye kuandikira enyimba zo.
Enyimba zezewandikira.
Otera kuyimbirawo kikubirawo.
Ntera kubeera rocksatu nebala jembera mbagitala bamba promoter cloud yatutegekerawo like tugenda ne tuyimbamu awo. Yeah.
Do you have your work on social media? Enyimba zo kwe ziri ku social media?
Yes, nina YouTube, TikTok ne Facebook. So far the apps zokka zenina zinakagulawo emikutu gyokka egyo.
Ngokozesa linnya ki?
Unique Boy.
Kale, Unique Boy, webale kutukyalirako. That was Unique Boy for you, putting up that amazing performance on this Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. We believe and hope that you've been awakened on this Friday morning. Cold as it is, but at least we've given you a reason to get out of those chills. Good Morning Uganda does continue. Cass de Sax will be back, but up next is Ruben with the sports. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, This is Good Morning Uganda.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the jubilee out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning. My name is Ruben Pima. I'm here to give you sports. Before I go into basketball, Julius, allow me to talk about the game yesterday between United and Bilbao. There's been a couple of questions coming up about the red card and how the game was played by the referee. But I'll tell you that the game has rules, and sometimes the referees follow rules of the game. Yes, many of you would have said that maybe give a yellow card and a penalty. So it's supposed the referee to use either common sense or to determine the law very well. So if a defender stops a scoring opportunity, but the referee is actually at ease to send the player off and give a penalty. So whatever the referee thought yesterday is what we should actually follow. But anyway, away from that into basketball. Game 6 was on this morning, and the Knicks did beat the Pistons. By game 6, that was 116 to 113. So that means that in the best of 7, the Knicks have taken the day. The Knicks have won this game. I'm pretty not sure whether the game, it was a 60-point quarter where we had the Pistons recording 23 points and the Knicks recording 37. Then the second quarter was another quarter, a 70-point quarter as well. Actually, a 60-point quarter. We had 38 for the Pistons and 22 for the Knicks. Then in the third quarter, the Knicks had to take it, 37 for the Knicks and 24 for the Pistons, and the final quarter was 28 for the Pistons and 20 for the Knicks. What a game of basketball, and clearly you could see that the Knicks were on a mission to go out and enjoy and then win the game. But of course, interesting results are there. And the Clippers did also play in game 6. That's the series are tied 3-3. The Nuggets against the Clippers, and this morning we had the game 6 that ended in the Nuggets' favor. Actually, the Clippers' favor. They did equalize the series. That is 3-3. My interest is actually the fourth quarter. It was a low-scoring quarter, if you ask me. 26 for the Nuggets and 21 for the Knicks. What a game that was, full of low scores in terms of points. But of course, tomorrow morning, we might not be here tomorrow, but we shall get back here on Monday. We shall have games tomorrow morning. Game 6 between the Warriors and the Rockets will be on tomorrow. That will be at 4 a.m. in the morning. And of course, it will be at the Chess Center. So the Warriors lead the series 3-2, and if they win game 6 tomorrow, that means the Rockets will be out. But if the Rockets come up with a challenge and win game 6, that will mean that we shall have game 7 between the Warriors and the Rockets. Then of course, we'll have game 7 as well as okay, it will be tonight at 11 when the Nuggets will take on the Clippers in game 7. Now this is the winner takes it all. The ABBA have a song, the winner takes it all. Maybe one of the teams might be singing such vocals. The winner takes it all between the Clippers and the Nuggets. It's game 7 to tonight, 11 p.m. I'll be able to catch after watching the local basketball in Lugogo. I'll run back to catch the Nuggets against the Clippers. That will be game 7. Well, away from that, into the European leagues, we have games in your favorite leagues. That will be tomorrow, but the first game is between Aston Villa and Fulham at 2:30. Then other games at 5 p.m. There are 2 games at 5. That is Everton against Ipswich, and then Leicester will take on Southampton. Then later on, Arsenal will be in action against Bournemouth at 7:30. Then on Sunday, Brentford will take on Man U at 4. Brighton against Newcastle at 4. West Ham will take on Spurs at 4. That's a London derby. Then the big one at 6:30 will be between Chelsea and Liverpool. Liverpool won the championship, their 20th, but last weekend. So there's nothing to talk about. It's just a pride and pedigree that might come into play here. But Chelsea need the points because they must qualify for the Champions League. That's why they need it badly. They need it badly. Then away from England into La Liga, we have the games. There are like 5 games or 4 games that will be played tomorrow in La Liga. The first one is Deportivo takes on Atletico at 3. Then at 5:15, Villarreal will take on Osasuna. Las Palmas will be in action against Valencia at 7:30. Then at 10, Valladolid will host Barcelona. That will be tomorrow. Then on Sunday, in La Liga on Sunday, Real Madrid will be in action against Celta Vigo. Sevilla will take on Leganes. Espanyol against Betis, and Sociedad will be in action against Bilbao. That will be on Sunday. Then of course tomorrow in the Serie A, Cagliari will take on Udinese. That will be at 4. Then Parma takes on Como at 4, and at 7 Lecce takes on Napoli, and then at 9:45 Inter Milan at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium will take on Hellas Verona. Then on Sunday in the Serie A, Empoli will take on Lazio at 1:30. At 4 months against Atlanta. Roma will take on Fiorentina at 7. Then Bologna at 9:45 will be playing against Juventus. That's it from sports this morning. I'll hand over to you. I'll hand over back to Julie and the sax man to come and take us through up to the hour of 9. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the jubilee out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Live